is a nice day. Alright, so why are bugs so loud? How can something so small make such a loud noise? I like doing these little update videos while walking. It just makes it feel a bit more natural. So anyway, quick little meet recap. I'm not going to go super in depth on anything. Just kind of like quickly summarize my 3 lifts. So overall, it went really good. Actually, I can't complain at all. As powerlifters, we're never really happy with our performance. Like, you always want more, but I would say overall it was like a solid like 8.5 out of 10. Like it was really good, and I made huge strides since my last one. I ended up totaling 672.5 kilos, which is only a little bit higher than my last meet, but I also dropped a full weight class. So at my last meet I was about 200 pounds, and this time I weighed in at 181 pounds. So I hit meet PRs on all 3 lifts while also dropping a full weight class. So I'd say that's really good. And I went from, if you guys are familiar with dots, I went from 421 dots to 456 dots. So I pretty much gained a full 35 dots in 7 months on my performance. So really happy with that. Squats went pretty well. I actually ended up, so I didn't mention this before, but I water cut for this meet. So I did a combination of like a gut cut and a full like 7-day water load and water cut to lose the final weight, because I usually weigh in like the mid to high 180s. So I had to drop below 183 to weigh in, obviously. So I did that, and it actually felt like it affected my squats a little bit. Like, my warm-ups didn't feel as like powerful as they normally do, and when I got to my second attempt of 507, it felt pretty hard. It was probably a bit slower than it had moved in my training the previous couple weeks. So for the third attempt, I ultimately just decided to go for 518 or 235 kilos, which actually matches my best squat in training. But when I did hit that squat in training, I was about 192 pounds or something like that. So I kind of matched my PR at a slightly lighter body weight for the meet. So all in all, I felt a little bit weaker than normal, but I still got the meet PR, and I ended up squatting 10 kilos above the nearest competitor. So I finished first place in the squat. When I moved on to bench, nothing too exciting. Bench is kind of just one of those slow but predictable lifts to progress on. So I ended up taking what is it? 145 kilos or 319 for an opener, and then 152.5 or 336 for a second. And the second attempt was pretty grindy, so I ended up just finishing it off with 155 kilos or 341 pounds, which was also a 5 kilo meet PR, just like the squat. But of course, I'm a lot smaller of a human now. So yeah, like bench, I'm just glad. I honestly would have been happy with 150, having dropped all the weight. Like, I wasn't expecting anything big on bench, so it was really nice that I hit the PR. Deadlifts were probably the best lift of the day. I guess it's a combination of having, the meet went really long, so between weighing in and starting deadlifts, I probably had like 6 hours of just drinking water and electrolytes and all that stuff before deadlift. So I was pretty much my body was fully refueled. And I also feel that the taper before the meet really, the rest that I got in the week leading up to the meet really helped my deadlift performance on the day. And as a result, I ended up hitting a all-time PR of 622 pounds. So my previous best meet deadlift was 606 pounds, and my best deadlift in training was 617 pounds. So I hit a 7.5 kilo meet PR and a 2.5 kilo all-time PR, which was cool. I actually ended up getting 1 red light on my third deadlift. If you watch the video again, you can kind of see, like, on my left side, the it looks like the weight on the left end of the bar kind of like drops down a little bit when I lock out. So I guess from the judge's position, it looks like downward motion, which is obviously a technical error, and you don't get the lift if you have that. However, I do think so. Refs are not supposed to judge. They're not supposed to judge downward motion at lockout. So like, because when you lock out a deadlift, naturally the weight settles and your shoulders kind of settle. So if there's downward motion at or like after the lockout, you're not supposed to give the red light for that. And I did lock out the weight before the weight on the left side sort of settled down. So I do think the one red light I got was actually a mistake on the ref's part, which I'm not salty about that. Like, I still got the lift, so it doesn't really matter. But what I'm getting at is I'm not going to change anything about my deadlift going forward, like form wise, because I think my form on all 3 attempts was perfect according to the rules and everything. So yeah, so I guess I don't really have anything else that I want to ramble on. I'm just I'm just pretty happy about how it went. And the next plan from here is I'm going to try to do I actually might try to do nationals next year. I already hit the qualifying total, so that's hitting the qualifying total is not an issue. But I do have to do provincials in November in order to go to nationals in I think it's February next year. So regardless of whether I end up doing nationals or not, I'm definitely going to do the provincials in 4 months. And I'm pretty much going to spend the next 4 months, doing what I've been doing, like training hard, trying to build what muscle I can. And I'm actually going to stay 83. So that means I'm basically going to go from cutting body weight over the course of 5 months to maintaining body weight. So I'm hoping that'll make my training I'm hoping that'll make my training a little bit better, just because I'm in calorie maintenance as opposed to calorie deficit. So I don't expect to put another 35 dots on my total or anything like that, but I do think I can make some. I do think I can hit some meet PRs in this next meet, even though I only have 4 months to get ready for it, and that's what I plan to do. So I will probably not upload any more frequently than I already am, just because I have a low attention span, and off-season training isn't that interesting anyway. But otherwise, I'll see you when I see you. Peace out.